Hello, everyone. Today, July 5th, 2016, I'm continuing with the Queen of the Stars. This is part 2. In 2007, I wrote about a new streaming, not new, but a developing streaming of energy that was coming through the crystalline minerals of the earth, particular veins of them, called the Amaru. Both gave this name in reference to the Amaru Maru portal over at Lake Titicaca, that big doorway in stone, because that's a main point or node for this energy factor. The seeding that was going on then was a new energy, or a continuing energy, a developing energy into those veins of Amaru crystals. And the Amaru crystals could be all different kinds. I mean, they were anything from turquoise to amethyst to rose quartz to whatever. But the main frequency stone seems to be selenite. And again, while Amaru Maru is a portal connection for it all, the crystal cave of Nika in Mexico that holds those huge selenite crystals is somehow the engine for it, shall we say. And so the selenite crystals are at the top of the list in regard to the Amaru frequency. And so you would need to listen to part 1. I really suggest that you do if you haven't already. But he's calling the seeding that was done in 2007 King of the Sun. And now he's talking about Queen of the Sun coming up, another layer or process. And I'm struggling with words because it's difficult to put this into human terms, because it's dealing with sciences that we really haven't opened yet on this planet. They're quantum sciences, but quantum is a catchword for many aspects of this quantuming state of being that we're moving into, And so there's so much more to it than that, much more than I know for sure. So I struggle with the words, but he showed it to me the other night as a waveform. So we have the waveform. It's a crystalline waveform. We have the waveform of the King of the Sun that's now moving through particular veins or strains of actual mineralized crystals on the planet. And then we have the Queen of the Sun, which obviously is the other polarity. Pardon the coughing, some early morning allergies going on here. We have the Queen of the Sun, that is the other polarity coming through, the divine feminine polarity of it. And I think he's putting it into polarized terms in this way because this crystalline factor is in our DNA as well. So if we think of the veins of the earth, especially certain streams or veins that are conducive to receptivity of the Amaru frequency. But we also have that within our being because we have the crystalline matrix in our bodies, in our DNA. And so the King of the Sun is operating on the positive polarity frequency in our body. And the Queen of the Sun would be operating on the negative polarity frequency in our body. Whoops, I let that stick up the top of the screen. Sorry about that. So, where does that leave us? Well, I knew that we really hadn't received the Queen of the Sun yet in our linear time frame. And I was looking for the time. It was like, okay, so when is the window? And I didn't get any ready answer on this. However, right very close to when I've been asking this question, I was thumbing through Facebook, and up came a video by Patricia. Just one moment, I'm going to switch over to the other screen so you can see it. Where are we here? by Patricia Cotter-Robles, and this is the final stage of preparation. Well, now this is a wonderful video, and I recommend you watching all of it. However, I just want to share with you just a little piece because I feel that, you know, as I was going through these pages in Facebook, I suddenly saw it, and you know, I like her work. I haven't heard a lot of it, but I do like it. I feel resonant with it. But I wasn't going to listen to it. I was in a hurry, and I was going to pass it by, and something just said, no, do it. Look at it. Listen to it. So that's why I did. And now I'm wondering what happened to my... Okay, hold on just one moment. I can't find it. It seems to have entirely disappeared. There it is. Okay. So let me share just a bit of this video with you here because I'd like to comment on it then.
2016 has been a year like no other. Day by day, we have been experiencing shifts of energy, vibration and consciousness beyond anything humanity or Mother Earth have ever been able to withstand at a cellular level. These amazing accelerations were made possible through the invocations and the unified efforts of awakening humanity and the company of heaven. These efforts were greatly amplified by the celestial events associated with the equinox and solstice, the solar and lunar eclipse series, the divine intervention of Mother Mary and Saint Germain in May, the rare occurrence of 5 planets in retrograde position, and the myriad activities of light conducted by the millions of light workers all over the world. All of this preparation has been designed to strengthen humanity and Mother Earth at a cellular level and to recalibrate our DNA structures so that we will be able to receive new patterns of perfection for the Earth. The beings of light have revealed that these patterns which will be encoded in humanity's DNA are beyond anything we have been able to fathom with our finite minds. The beings of light said that even the most awakened light worker envisioning the patterns of perfection for the new Earth is mostly focusing on reversing the gross mutations we miscreated after our fall from grace. For instance, people think heaven on earth would be the elimination of poverty, hunger, war, hatred, disease, aging, inclement weather conditions, greed, the abuse of power, and the elimination of every other form of pain and suffering. All of that is important, but it does not even begin to scratch the surface of the glorious patterns of divine love, reverence for life, and oneness that are available on the new Earth. Nor does it begin to touch the limitless patterns of bliss, ecstasy, wonder and awe that are pulsating in the causal body of God. These are the patterns that will be flowing into the mental and emotional strata of Earth when the portal for the realms of Oz over Alaska is open to full breadth August 13th to 20th, 2016. This facet of the divine plan will be victoriously accomplished once we complete this final stage of preparation. The events of the June solstice in 2016. With the influx of light we were blessed with during the June 20th to 21st, 2016 solstice, the Earth and all life evolving upon her reached a critical mass of 5th dimensional crystalline solar light. This was an essential part of the unfolding divine plan that the company of heaven had been hoping humanity would be able to accomplish, so that we will succeed in opening the portal for the realms of Oz in August. Humanity integrated these frequencies of 5th dimensional crystalline solar light for several days. Then, on June 25 this incredible light was projected through the powerful acupuncture point in the crystal grid system of Mother Earth located in Sedona, Arizona. The success of this event God victoriously initiated the final stage of preparation for the events that will take place August 13th to 20th, 2016. During that monumental moment in Sedona, Arizona, The old Earth's fragmented and fear-based grid of separation and duality which was formed during humanity's fall from grace was transmuted into light and replaced with a new 5th-dimensional crystalline grid system. This means that the patterns of separation and duality from the old Earth will no longer be empowered or sustained by that miscreated and mutated grid system, encoding the new crystalline grid system with patterns of perfection. The beings of light said this 5th-dimensional crystalline grid system is a fluid field of unmanifest divine potential that humanity can now encode with patterns for a new life path. Until we can reach into the frequencies of the causal body of God that will be released into the mental and emotional strata of Earth through the portal in Alaska in August, the beings of light have given us a template to begin encoding the new crystal grid system. We are being asked to invoke these patterns according to our heart's call from now until the fulfillment of the divine plan in August, so that we can pave the way for much higher and more glorious patterns for heaven on earth. This invocation has been given to humanity by the company of heaven, and it is stated in the first person so that each of us will experience it personally. However,
I stopped it at that point, but as I said, this is a wonderful video, and she continues with giving an invocation that goes on for some time here. So I would really recommend you listening to it at www.eraofpeace.org, or you can go into YouTube and you can just do a search for "This is the final stage of preparation," and it should come up. But I wanted to allow you to listen to that with me because there's some obvious factors here. First of all, there's some dates given, and I don't, I usually receive my dates directly from Thoth in regard to any things that I'm receiving, that I'm working with, or something coming up, like the May 29th star streams and all of this. But this time, I believe the message was given to me to listen to this video because the window of August 13th through the 20th is correlating with the Amaru, Queen of the Sun, coming through as a waveform on the planet. Now, she talks about the crystalline fields. It's a crystalline field. And as I went into it deeper, I really got my affirmation that that window of time is correct. I'm receiving, however, that for the Queen of the Sun, it's like a pulsing frequency that builds. It starts on the 14th, but it builds and actually has its true node on the 16th, and then begins to just level out and become seated and into the earth through the remaining days. But still, it's 14th through 20th, as Patricia is saying here for her portal information that's opening up there. So, when we look at all of this, and there's so many people right now, and there has been for a while, I imagine, that are receiving information about openings and portals and preparations, and each one has its own unique fingerprint, I guess you could call it, but they're all coalescing as one unit. You see, it's like layers on an onion. So the one that Patricia's focusing on and receiving information on is one layer. The one that I'm receiving information on is another layer. Then we've got all these others. It's all these layers of the onion, and they're all working in a synergic movement together. So this I really find exciting, and especially for now when the earth seems to be in such chaos, not the earth, the humanity, the world seems to be in such chaos, but everything is breaking down so that the reformation can be revealed. It's like the crust falling off of the old patina. It's falling off. The old patina is falling off, and the true crystalline form is beneath it. And that is what we're going through right now. So with the Queen of the Sun waveform coming into the Amaru crystal grid, what does that really mean? Let's take a deeper look at that. Thoth is saying that the King of the Sun waveform, crystalline waveform of the Amaru, was the seeding device, the one that opened up and allowed this seeding frequency to take place. Now, the Queen of the Sun is the developing embryo. And you could say, well, it's already here then if it's developing from the seed. Well, it is already here because everything is already here, but it's on another dimension. And what he's saying is going to be happening from the 13th to the 20th of August is that this dimension is going to open up and come through. Remember the star streams from the center of the Nutra universe, the Atosic universe, into our universe. This is referring to the star streams of May 29th. Again, you'd have to go back and listen to all that if you haven't heard it yet. But that's when the filaments connected to open us to receive codes, to continue to receive codes from the mother of this universe. This universe's mother. And as such, we're receiving, as Thoth called it, the mother's milk. So out of the mother's milk comes this dimensional flow of the Queen of the Sun crystalline waveform that's going to be now bringing the embryo forth from the seeding of the King of the Sun waveform. It's birthing a celestial crystal child amongst us that's a part of all of us. And it's not a human being, flesh and blood child, but it's a product of all of us. And that product is the beginning formation of the actual matrix for the pure gem body. Now, we've been working on the pure gem body a long time. For those of you who have been following my work, understanding it from that perspective. There are other people who are probably speaking about pure gem bodies in other ways, using other words or looking at it from a different angle, So I'm not saying I have a scoop on it or anything, but from my work, the pure gem body as such, I began receiving information on that as far back as the 1980s, I believe, or early 90s. I'm not sure. Probably the 1980s. In any case, the pure gem body is that new earth body that we must have in our process working with receiving the ascension dynamics and moving into the new earth star. So there's a matrix forming. I mean, the word matrix, I know it's a catch-all for so many things. I've used the word matrix to describe so many different things. I feel like we ought to invent a new word, but it is a matrix, It's a matrix for the pure gem body, the pure gem body matrix, I guess we can call it for the moment anyway. And that's what's being created here by the King of the Sun, the Queen of the Sun, this merging, the embryo coming forth. We're birthing a matrix, not the pure gem body itself, but a matrix for the really serious beginning of formation of this pure gem body. We have in our beings now a lot of things in place that have been given to us through time and space at different points in our earthly experience to as little triggers for the pure gem body to develop. But we don't have the matrix to grow the garden in. So now, our bodies are the matrix, you could say. Certainly they are. But we're talking about a collective matrix, something we all share in a very direct way to be able to emancipate the M-stramolecule, that molecule within us that holds the keys and the codes to the pure gem frequency. And so this is what Thoth is really talking about, is a pure gem body matrix. I may have another word for it later, but that's what I'm going to call it right now. And So I know I'm going to be receiving more on this. One of the things I want to do, and I might even do it today if I have time, is to begin some tonal frequencies that align to this. And I won't be necessarily chanting them. I might bring in some ancient wording that goes with it. But I want to, I was given this incredible set of tuning forks, and they're not just any tuning forks. They were created by a longtime friend of mine, Randy Masters, who does incredible work, and always, but he has created tuning forks that are basically out of this world. They're far advanced from any tuning forks that I believe are currently on this planet. And Thoth seems to concur because he's very, anytime I bring something through with Randy's tuning forks or about it or get information or get a fork, Thoth is right there working with me. So I know that it is a powerful experience. So anyway, I have all these tuning forks, and I received them from Pamela because she gifted them to me to help me with my health, and boy, am I going to use them for that. However, I also saw immediately how they would come into play to be able to long distance remotely work with these vibrations, to give other people the signals and codes, using them in a format that is to develop the frequency that allows us to move into that matrix and to help that matrix develop. We have to grow our own matrix here before we can begin to then grow our communal receptive nodes, so that we can commune with our light bodies can commune with one another on a much deeper experiential level. So I will be doing at least one video, probably several, that have that goal in mind or purpose in mind, to work with the sounds and the ancient Aloe language to perpetuate this field and this force. That's the plan anyway, so we shall see how it goes. And so I believe I will conclude the video here, and wishing you all a wonderful day, night, journey in life. Until next time, mahalo.